The clock strikes 11:47 p.m. Outside, the wind sighs through leafless trees, brushing against the windows like tired fingers. The house stands in near darkness, lit only by the faint golden glow of a lamp in the hallway. Once it had been full of laughter, warmth, and music. Now it breathes silence. Elias Kane, 38, enters quietly, his shoulders slumped under the weight of another long day at the university. His tie hangs loose, his eyes dull with exhaustion. He shuts the door softly behind him, careful not to wake his daughter. His coat slides off his arm and lands on the hook by the door, missing slightly. He leaves it. He doesn't care. He pauses in the hallway, staring down the dim corridor that leads to the bedrooms. Every photo frame on the wall feels like a memory frozen in time. A smiling wife, a baby in her arms, the sunlight bright and careless. He looks away. The faint ticking of a clock echoes. Somewhere, a floorboard creaks. Elias rubs his temples and exhales, the sound barely louder than a whisper. Int, kitchen, continuous. He moves to the kitchen, pours himself a glass of water. The refrigerator hums softly in the background. On the counter sits a picture of Amara, his late wife, beautiful, smiling, alive. Her eyes seem to follow him. He can't look at her for long. He downs the water, sets the glass aside, and forces a tired smile that fades before it begins. From upstairs comes a faint creak. He freezes. For a moment, there's nothing. Then, a soft rustle, the whisper of a lullaby. Just a few notes, floating through the air like a ghostly breath. Elias turns toward the staircase, frowning. "Lila," he calls softly. No response. He climbs the stairs, each step groaning beneath his weight. The air feels heavier up here, colder. Ain't eight. Lila's room. Night, the door is slightly open, light from a night lamp spilling through the crack. Elias pauses outside, listening. The melody fades. Through the narrow gap, he sees movement, a faint shadow gliding across the floor. He stiffens. His heart pounds. The shape seems to lean toward Lila's small bed. He pushes the door open quickly. Nothing. The room is still. The curtain sways gently beside the open window, letting the night air in. The moonlight makes everything look pale and quiet. Lila sleeps peacefully, her small hand clutching a stuffed rabbit. Her chest rises and falls softly. Elias's gaze shifts to the rocking chair near her bed. It's still moving, just slightly, as if someone had been sitting there moments ago. He steps forward, closes the window, and the air grows still. For a moment, he just stands there, listening to the silence. He runs a hand through his hair and whispers, "Get a grip, Elias. Just the wind. Just exhaustion. That's all." He walks out, glancing once more at Lila, and at the corner of the room, where the faint outline of a figure seems to flicker and fade away. Int. Elias's bedroom. Laterelius lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. Sleep won't come. The sound of the rocking chair plays again in his head. He can still feel that cold breath of air. He rolls onto his side, facing the empty half of the bed. Amara's pillow is still there, untouched since the day she died. He reaches out, fingers brushing the fabric, and whispers, "I'm trying, Amara. I really am." The silence answers him, "Inti-tea." Lila's room, morning, early light filters through the curtains. Lila sits up, rubbing her eyes. Elias stands at the doorway, already dressed for work, coffee mug in hand. "Morning, sweetheart," he says softly. "Did you sleep okay?" Lila smiles sleepily. "Yes, Daddy." Then, after a pause, she adds in a whisper, "Mommy sang to me last night." Elias freezes, his breath catching for a moment. He forces a calm smile, though his eyes flicker with unease. "She did?" he asks carefully. Lila nods. "She said she missed you." Elias's hand tightens on the mug until his knuckles turn white. He can't find words. Finally, he leans down, kisses her forehead, and murmurs, "That's nice, sweetheart. That's nice." He steps out, leaving Lila to hum softly to herself. The same lullaby Amara used to sing. A week has passed. The house feels different. Not louder, not busier, just stranger. The silence now seems to breathe on its own. Elias sits in his study, grading papers by the dim light of a desk lamp. The soft scratch of his pen fills the air. Every so often he glances toward the doorway, as though expecting someone to be standing there. But no one ever is. He sighs, rubs his eyes, and leans back. From downstairs, a faint note rings out, the sound of a piano key being pressed. He freezes. The piano hasn't been touched since Amara died. He stands slowly. Another note plays, then another, hesitant, uneven. It's her lullaby. Elias's throat tightens. He steps into the hallway and peers down the dark stairwell. The living room below is bathed in silver moonlight, the piano glowing faintly in the corner. The melody stops when he reaches the bottom. He runs a trembling hand over the keys. They're cold, dusty, still. A soft giggle drifts from upstairs. "Lila?" he calls. Silence. He hurries back up. Indeed, Lila's room, continuous. The night light paints the room in pale yellow. Lila sits on the floor, crayons scattered around her. Her drawings cover the carpet, a family of 3, all smiling. But in every picture, there's a dark figure behind them. A tall shadow with no face. Elias kneels beside her. "What are you drawing, sweetheart?" "Mommy," she says simply, not looking up. "She comes to play when you're working." He swallows hard. "You mean, in your dreams?" Lila shakes her head. "No. When the moon is out." She hums softly, the same tune that once filled their home. Elias feels the room's temperature drop, just slightly. He gathers the drawings and freezes when his eyes land on one. 3 figures again. But this time, the shadow holds something bright around its neck. A small, heart-shaped locket. Elias whispers, "That can't be." Amara's locket was buried with her. He'd placed it there himself. He sets the paper down, trying to steady his breath. "It's just imagination, Lila, that's all." But even as he says it, he doesn't believe it. Teet. Hallway. Later that night, Elias lies awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. The house feels alive, its wooden bones shifting, sighing. He hears something move down the hall. He sits up. From Lila's room comes a soft scraping sound, like a brush through hair. He rises and walks toward the door, heart pounding. The sound grows clearer. It's a rhythm. Gentle, patient, the way Amara used to brush Lila's hair before bed. He reaches the doorway and looks inside. Through the half-open door, he sees a silhouette seated in the rocking chair, a woman's figure, dark against the pale glow. She leans toward Lila, her hand moving through the little girl's hair. "Amara?" The word slips out before he can stop it. The figure freezes. Slowly, its head turns toward him. No eyes, no face, only shadow. The air thickens. Elias rushes in, flipping the light switch. The chair is empty. It rocks gently, creaking back and forth, as though someone has just left it. Lila stirs under the blanket, mumbling, "Mommy's gone now." Elias stands still, the blood rushing in his ears. He reaches for the chair, stopping it with a trembling hand. The wood is warm, as if touched moments ago. E.T. Living room. Moments later, Elias sinks onto the couch, clutching his head. His breathing is uneven. It's just the mind playing tricks, he tells himself aloud. Just grief. The piano responds with a sudden single note. He jumps up, heart racing, eyes fixed on the instrument. The lid trembles slightly, then settles. The room is silent again. He laughs nervously, the sound cracked and tired. You're losing it, Elias. He pours himself a drink, his hand shaking so badly that whiskey spills onto the counter. He doesn't wipe it away. He just stares at the wet stain spreading slowly, like a shadow. 30T. Leela's room. Dawn morning light creeps through the curtains. Lila sleeps soundly, clutching her stuffed rabbit. On her nightstand sits one of her drawings, placed neatly, a new one. This time, the shadow's hand rests gently on her shoulder. Underneath, written in a child's careful scrawl, "Mommy's here to keep me safe." Elias stands in the doorway, pale and sleepless. He can't bring himself to touch the drawing. He turns away, whispering, "If you're really here, Amara, what do you want from us?" The wind answers with a soft sigh through the open window. The curtains move again, brushing lightly against his arm. Cold, almost human. He closes the window, his eyes wet. Please, just let her rest. Behind him, the rocking chair creaks once, slow, steady, and deliberate. The house is still again. Too still, Elias sits at his desk, surrounded by books and ungraded papers. A single lamp glows beside him, throwing shadows against the wall. The piano downstairs hasn't played again since that night, but the silence feels heavier now, like it's waiting for something. On the desk lies one of Lila's drawings, the one with the shadow holding the locket. He keeps staring at it, tracing the small crayon lines with his finger. The image feels alive. He whispers, "What are you trying to tell me, Amara?" His voice cracks. He closes his eyes, and the room fades away. Flashback. Int. Kane House. 3 years earlier. The same room, brighter. Laughter echoes down the hall. Amara stands near the window, holding baby Lila. Her smile is tired but full of love. Elias enters, coat over his arm, phone pressed to his ear. "Just 5 more minutes, I promise," he says into the phone before hanging up. Amara watches him with quiet disappointment. "You missed dinner again," Elias sighs. "I had to finish grading, Amara. The semester's ending." "You always have to finish something," she interrupts softly. "But what about us, Elias?" He doesn't answer. He kisses Lila's head and leaves the room. The light in Amara's eyes dims. The sound of the door closing feels final. In 8. Graveyard. Present day. Cold wind sweeps through the cemetery. The sky is gray, the air damp. Elias stands before Amara's grave, holding a small bouquet of lilies. His coat flaps in the wind. The gravestone reads, "Amara Kane, beloved wife and mother, 1988-2024. He kneels, placing the flowers gently at the base. His voice trembles. "It's been a year. Lila's growing so fast. She still talks about you every day." He pauses, the silence pressing against his chest. "I keep seeing things, Amara. Hearing your song. If it's really you, please tell me what you want. I can't keep living like this." A cold gust rushes past, whipping his hair. For a brief second he hears his name, whispered faintly, carried by the wind. Elias. He looks up sharply, heart pounding. No one's there. The flowers shift slightly, though the air is still. He backs away, eyes wide, whispering, "God, help me." NT. Lila's room. Night. Lila sleeps soundly. Moonlight spills over her blanket. Elias stands in the doorway, his face drawn and pale. He watches her chest rise and fall, the rhythm calming him, until her lips part. At first, it's a mumble, Then clearly, Elias, why did you leave me that day? Elias's breath catches. His knees weaken. It's not Lila's voice. It's Amara's. Soft, broken, unmistakable. He stumbles forward. Lila, wake up, honey. But she doesn't stir. Her voice continues, gentle but sorrowful. I waited for you. I wanted to tell you I was sorry, but you never came. Elias grips the edge of her bed, trembling. Amara, please, don't do this. The nightlight flickers once, twice, then steadies. Lila's breathing returns to normal, and she rolls over, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Silence again. Elias sits on the floor beside her bed, hands over his face. Tears slip through his fingers. Flashback, living room, the day of the accident. Rain hits the windows hard. Amara stands near the door, her coat half on, her face streaked with tears. You don't listen to me anymore, Elias, she says, voice shaking. I can't do this alone. He stands across from her, anger and fatigue mixing in his eyes. I'm trying to provide for you, for Lila. I can't be here all the time. She turns away. I don't need you all the time. I just need you once in a while. A tense silence. Then she grabs her car keys. Elias frowns. Where are you going? Out, she says quietly. Just out, she leaves. He doesn't stop her. Minutes later, thunder rolls. Sirens wail. That was the last time he saw her alive. Elias's bedroom. Present night Elias sits on the edge of his bed, head bowed. The storm outside mirrors the one inside him. I should have stopped her, he whispers. I should have said I loved you. Lightning flashes through the window. For a moment, he sees a faint reflection beside him. A woman's outline, barely visible in the light. He doesn't turn. He can't. He just whispers, I'm sorry. The reflection fades. Lila's room. Later Elias tucks Lila in again. Her small hand finds his. Daddy, she murmurs, half asleep. Mommy says don't be sad. She says she forgives you. His heart clenches. What did you say? Lila's eyes stay closed. She was standing by the window. She smiled. Elias feels his throat tighten. He looks toward the window. Nothing but night beyond the glass. Still, he whispers, Thank you, Amara. Thank you. As he leaves the room, the faintest sound follows him. A sigh, a whisper of wind, and a single piano note echoing through the house. Rain streaks the windows of the small office. Elias sits at his desk, grading papers he can't focus on. His eyes keep drifting to his phone. A video from last night plays silently. Lila, sleeping peacefully, until the shadow passes across her room. He replays it again and again. Each time the chill runs deeper. The door creaks open. His colleague, Professor Miles, a man in his 50s, peers in. You look like you haven't slept in days, Miles says gently. Still having the dreams? Elias forces a weak smile. They're not dreams anymore. Miles hesitates. Elias, have you thought about talking to someone? A counselor, maybe? Elias shakes his head. It's not that kind of help I need. He opens a browser window. The search reads, Local mediums, contact spirits, private sessions. INT, spiritual reading parlor. Night, faint smell of incense fills the air. The room glows with the light of flickering candles. Wind chimes tinkle softly as Elias steps inside. A woman sits at a round table covered with worn tarot cards and crystals. She is Madame Nuru, mid-40s, calm but intense, her dark eyes sharp as glass. Mr. Kane, she says, before he introduces himself. He freezes. How did you... She smiles faintly. The dead carry their own introductions. He swallows, uneasy, and sits. The air feels heavier near her. Nuru studies him silently for a long moment. You've been touched by a restless soul, she finally says. Someone who left words unspoken. Elias nods, his voice barely steady. My wife. She died a year ago. And now, I think she's trying to talk to me through my daughter. Nuru closes her eyes and begins to hum softly, moving her hands over a glass bowl filled with water. The candles flicker as if responding to her breath. After a moment, she whispers, Her name was Amara. Elias's eyes widen. Yes, she's trapped between worlds, Nuru continues, bound by sorrow, by guilt, hers and yours. Elias leans forward. Then help me speak to her, please. Nuru opens her eyes slowly. You don't understand. If you open that door, you can't control who walks through. Int. Medium's parlor. Continuous, the room darkens as the air grows colder. Nuru places both hands on the bowl of water. If she is here, she will show herself. Elias hesitates, then nods. The water ripples. A faint melody drifts through the room, a piano lullaby. Elias gasps. That's our song. Nuru's expression changes. Her voice lowers. She's close. The candles flicker violently. Shadows stretch across the walls, moving like liquid. One of them forms a figure. Delicate, graceful, unmistakable. Amara, Elias whispers. A whisper echoes back, thin and fragile. Elias. His eyes fill with tears. I'm sorry. I should have been there. Please forgive me. The figure trembles, then twists. The soft edges sharpen, the form growing darker, distorted. Nuru's voice rises urgently. That's not her anymore. Elias stumbles back. What do you mean? She's not the only one drawn to your guilt, Nuru says, struggling to steady the bowl. Something else has followed you, something that feeds on your grief. The shadow jerks violently, slamming against the walls. Candles blow out one by one. A deep guttural sound fills the room. Elias! The voice growls, Amara's voice, but warped. Nuru shouts, Close your heart to it. Say her name with love, not pain. Elias forces his shaking voice to steady. Amara, I love you. Please go in peace. The shadow lets out a piercing wail, then collapses into smoke. The room goes silent. Nuru gasps for breath, sweat shining on her face. You almost lost yourself just now. The thing you called wasn't all your wife. Elias trembles. Then where is she? Nuru stares at the darkened bowl. Trapped. Waiting for release. You must find the object that binds her here. He frowns. Object? The thing she cherished most before death. Something she couldn't let go of, Nuru says. Destroy it, or she will never rest. N.T. Elias's car. Night later. Rain beats against the windshield. Elias grips the steering wheel tightly, mind spinning. The thing she cherished most, he mutters. Then it hits him. The locket, the one Lila now wears, Amara's gift. His pulse races. No, it can't be. He speeds home through the storm. Lila's room. Night, the house is dark. He pushes open Lila's door. She's asleep again, clutching the small gold locket against her chest. The piano song begins softly from downstairs. The same lullaby. Elias stands frozen. Every instinct screams, don't move. Then he whispers, Amara, please, let her go. A faint silhouette appears by the window. Amara's shape, watching, sorrowful. Her voice echoes faintly. You promised forever. Elias's voice breaks. Then take me instead. The room's air grows colder. The light flickers, and Amara's figure begins to fade, replaced by a swirling, darker presence. Something not entirely her. Lila stirs, whispering in her sleep, Mommy. Don't cry. Elias steps closer. You have to let go. Both of us do. The locket glows faintly in the moonlight. Elias reaches for it. Rain pours harder, battering the roof. Elias moves slowly through the darkened house, the flashlight trembling in his hand. Every step echoes, the floorboards groaning beneath his feet. Downstairs, the faint music still plays, the same lullaby Amara used to hum while rocking Leela to sleep. But this time it sounds slower, heavier, sadder. He pauses outside the living room. The piano lid is open. No one sitting there, yet the keys press down, one by one, as though an unseen hand is playing. Elias whispers, "Amara." The notes stop. Only silence answers him, and the ticking of the clock sounds painfully loud. Lila's room. Continuous. He moves back upstairs. The flashlight beam lands on Lila's small hand, curled tightly around the gold locket. The chain glimmers faintly in the dark. Elias kneels beside her bed, tears welling. "This can't be how I lose you too," he murmurs. He gently tries to lift the locket from her hand, but it won't move. Her fingers clench tighter in her sleep, her brow furrowing as if resisting. "Lila," he whispers. "Sweetheart, wake up." Her lips part, but the voice that emerges isn't hers. "Don't take it," the voice says softly. Amara's voice. Elias freezes. "Amara, please. If you're here, talk to me." The child's eyelids flutter, and suddenly her eyes open, pale, unfocused, distant. "Don't break it, Elias," she says, her tone trembling. "It's all I have left." Elias's breath catches. "You're holding her here. Through this?" Tears gather in her, Amara's eyes. "It's where I kept your promise. The one you forgot." She raises the locket slightly. The gold flickers with a faint inner glow. Flashback. Bedroom. Years earlier, it's the night before Amara's accident. She stands by the dresser, slipping the gold locket over her neck. Inside, two tiny pictures, one of her, one of Elias, and baby Lila. Elias enters, weary from work. She smiles faintly. "I've been waiting for you." He hesitates in the doorway. "Amara, I'm exhausted. Can we talk in the morning?" Her eyes fill with quiet hurt. "You always say that." He crosses to her, kissing her forehead without really looking into her eyes. "Tomorrow," he promises. As he walks away, she whispers to herself, "Then tomorrow it is." She clutches the locket, eyes glistening. Lila's room. Presentelius's face breaks with realization. "That was the last thing I said to you." Lila's small voice replies, still carrying Amara's tone. "You never came." He shakes his head. "I know. I should have been there. I thought there'd be time." The air shimmers faintly. The curtains sway, though the window is shut. The locket begins to hum. Soft, pulsing, like a heartbeat. Lila's face twists in pain. She's trapped. "I can't breathe." Elias grips her shoulders gently. "Hold on, baby. I'm going to fix this." Basement. Moments later, Elias rushes downstairs, the locket now in his trembling hand. He lays it on Amara's old jewelry box, the one she never wanted him to open. Inside, he finds letters. Old, tear-stained letters, written by her to him. Each begins the same way. "Elias, I don't know if you'll ever read this." His vision blurs as he reads. "I wish you could see me the way you used to. I wish you'd listen when I'm afraid. If something happens to me, promise me you'll tell Lila how much I loved her." He drops the page, voice breaking. "You were saying goodbye." The locket rattles on the table, glowing brighter. The air grows heavy, electric. From the shadows, a faint shape appears. Amara's silhouette, fragile and wavering. Amara's spirit. Softly. "You were never listening, Elias." He steps closer, tears falling. "I'm listening now. Tell me how to set you free." The spirit shakes her head. You can't hold both, grief and love. One has to die. Elias's hand tightens on the locket. Then take the grief. Take it from me. The spirit's face softens, her outline clearer now, no longer distorted. You always tried to fix things, even when all I needed was for you to feel. Elias nods, voice trembling. Then I feel it now, every part of losing you. He takes the locket, holds it to his heart, then places it back on the jewelry box. Goodbye, Amara. He slams it shut. A burst of light fills the basement, blinding, white, pure. The sound of the piano echoes once more, then fades completely. In tea. Leela's room. Same moment Leela jerks awake, gasping. The room is still, the moonlight calm. The air feels lighter. She sits up, clutching her chest. The locket is gone. Daddy? She calls softly. Elias appears in the doorway, pale but calm. He walks to her and kneels, pulling her into his arms. It's over, he whispers. She's free now. Lila looks toward the window, where a faint shimmer of light lingers, like the last trace of a spirit smiling before disappearing. Ext. Backyard. Dawn, the storm has passed. The world feels new. Elias buries the locket and the letters beneath the old oak tree. Amara's favorite place to sit and read. He whispers, "Rest now, my love." The morning sun breaks through the clouds, golden and soft. For the first time in a year, the air smells like peace. Emotional focus. In this section, Elias learns the true weight of love and letting go. The object of binding, the locket, symbolizes his inability to release the past. By destroying it, he not only frees Amara's spirit, but also opens the door to healing with his daughter and himself. For the first time in months, sunlight pours through the windows. The heavy curtains that once kept the house in darkness now sway with a soft breeze. Dust motes dance gently in the air, golden in the morning glow. Elias stands in the living room, barefoot, holding a cup of coffee gone cold. The silence feels different now, not hollow, but calm. The house that once echoed with absence now hums with quiet life. He looks toward the staircase. Lila's small footsteps patter above. Then a laugh, a sound he hasn't heard in so long that it breaks something tender in him. He sets the cup down and walks upstairs, each step feeling lighter than the last. Int. Lila's room. Continuous Lila is sitting on the floor, surrounded by her drawings. Sunlight hits her hair like a halo, and her face is peaceful. No shadows cling to the corners now. Even her toys seem brighter, as if the house itself is breathing again. Elias kneels beside her. "What are you drawing, sweetheart?" She smiles, showing him a picture of their family. Just the two of them, standing in the garden beneath a golden sky. But in the corner, she's drawn a soft glow. Not a shadow this time, but a light. "That's Mommy," she says gently. She's not sad anymore. Elias's throat tightens. No, she's not. Lila hums softly. The same lullaby Amara used to sing. But now it sounds like sunlight instead of sorrow. As she hums, Elias glances toward the window, where the curtain flutters with a faint whisper of wind. Tans and Frihi. Study. Laterelius sits at his desk, the one piled with old, untouched papers. For months, it's been a monument to avoidance, cluttered, stagnant. Now, he clears it completely. He places a fresh notebook in the center, opens the first page, and writes the title, "The Shadow in Her Room." He pauses, fingers trembling over the paper, then begins to write. "There was a time I believed the dead lived only in memory. But sometimes, love holds them too tightly to let them rest. And sometimes they return, not to haunt us, but to remind us that love never leaves. It only changes its shape. His hand steadies as he writes. The words flow like release, raw, quiet, healing. He looks up, and for a fleeting second, he swears he sees Amara's reflection in the glass of the study door, standing beside Lila, smiling. He doesn't turn around. He just smiles faintly and whispers, "Thank you." The reflection fades into the light. 8. Kitchen. Afternoon. Lila sits at the table coloring while Elias cooks breakfast, something he hasn't done in over a year. The smell of pancakes fills the air. Lila giggles. "You're burning it again, Daddy," he laughs, flipping the pancake badly. "Just like Mommy used to." Her laughter fills the kitchen, bright, free. It's not the sound of a haunted house anymore. It's the sound of life returning. Elias places a plate in front of her, sits across the table and watches her eat. He notices the toy box in the corner, the one Amara used to organize for her. Something glints inside. He walks over, curious. Beneath a layer of dolls and crayons, he finds a small golden chain, the locket, whole and untarnished. He freezes, breath catching. The locket shouldn't exist. He buried it. Inside, the photographs remain, but something new rests behind them. A tiny pressed white lily petal. He holds it gently, tears welling again, not of sorrow, but of peace. He looks up. Lila is smiling at him. "She said you'd find it," she whispers softly. He smiles through his tears. "Did she?" Lila nods. "She said, now you can tell stories again." XT. Backyard. Son Cetilius and Lila sit beneath the oak tree where he buried the letters. The setting sun paints the yard in warm gold. The grass shimmers where dew catches the fading light. Lila leans her head against his shoulder. "Do you think Mommy can see us?" Elias gazes at the horizon. "I think she's everywhere the light touches." A soft wind stirs the leaves above them. A whisper, a gentle hum. It's the same lullaby again, carried on the air, faint but unmistakable. Lila closes her eyes, smiling. Elias looks up at the tree, the wind brushing through its branches like fingers through hair. "Good night, Amara," he says quietly. NT House. Night later, the house settles into calm. Lila sleeps peacefully, the moonlight tracing soft patterns on her blanket. Elias stands at the doorway, watching her. The shadow on the wall moves slightly, but it's only the moonlight shifting with the wind. Still, he smiles. "Thank you," he whispers again, "for letting us go." He closes the door gently and walks down the hallway, the faint hum of the lullaby lingering in the air. Not haunting, but soothing. The sky is a soft silver blue, washed clean by the morning dew. Birds call in the distance, and the air feels cool, almost new. Elias walks slowly up a narrow path lined with old oak trees. Lila walks beside him, holding a small pot of white lilies, Amara's favorite flowers. The petals tremble with every step she takes. They stop before Amara's grave, a simple stone beneath a spreading willow tree. Elias kneels, brushing a few leaves away from the carved name, Amara Kane, beloved wife and mother. He exhales softly, as though releasing something that has sat heavy in his chest for far too long. Lila sets the flowers down at the base of the stone. "Mommy always liked lilies," she says in a small, proud voice. "She did," Elias replies, smiling faintly. "She said they looked like light when the sun hit them." They begin planting together, Elias digging the soft soil, Lila pressing the roots gently into the earth. Each movement is quiet, careful, filled with love. When they finish, Lila sits back on her heels and looks at the grave. Do you think she still watches us? She asks. Elias looks up at the morning sun filtering through the willow leaves, 1,000 tiny beams of gold spilling over them. He nods softly. Not as a shadow anymore, he says. As light, Lila smiles, her small hands brushing dirt from her knees. I like that better, she says. XT. Cemetery, later, they sit on a nearby bench, the breeze brushing through the trees. Somewhere in the distance, wind chimes sing a faint, familiar tune, the same melody that once came from Amara's lullaby. Elias closes his eyes for a moment, listening. It doesn't sound sorrowful anymore, only peaceful, like a promise kept. He turns to Lila. Ready to go home? She nods, slipping her small hand into his. As they walk away, sunlight filters through the branches, painting their path in shifting patterns of gold and green. Behind them, the lilies sway gently in the breeze, their white petals glowing as though touched by something unseen. Final image. The camera lingers on the sunlight spilling across Amara's name, bright and soft. The wind hums one last time, a quiet, distant echo of her lullaby, before fading into birdsong. Then the screen fills with light.